Well, hello, farming fans, and welcome back to another episode on Goldcrest Valley Rebooted. This is, again, the series sort of picking up where I was after I deleted about 7 episodes or so between episode 2 and episode 9, I believe. So, yeah, that's about 7 episodes that I put in the can in the digital waste bin because yeah, the audio was all messed up. So here we are. We are sitting on our front porch. I'm waiting for Billy Bob to return back from lunch. We took a bit of a late lunch today. We worked until just at 1 o'clock, and he's supposed to be back here at 2, and there he is there. So let's go out and get him started. We'll just jog over because hey, we can do that, right? So we will just jog over. We need to get him started turning this field back around. So we harvested this morning with his help, Billy Bob and Jim Bob. They're all here today except for Stan. Stan is still off today. You may notice I do have finally have TrackIR working. Really didn't. I don't mean to sound like I hadn't used it leading up to from the release of 17 until now, which is almost a week. It's Sunday morning my real time here in Colorado. So it wasn't that it was a challenge to get it set up and hooked up. It was just me taking the time to do it, I suppose. So we have TrackIR. I use so I have the more expensive version of the TrackIR. Forget sort of what it's called, premium or professional or something like that. Amazon sells this head tracking unit, and so other stores do as well. And with the bundle or with the TrackIR unit, you get this little metal, um, this sort of little metal attachment thing that goes onto a like a baseball cap. And so that's what I have. That's what I use. There are other units, add-on units that you can purchase um, that clip onto a headset. I've read the reviews of those things, and they seem to be very fiddly. They seem to break or cause problems, and there's also issues with getting them to attach correctly to different types of headsets. I wouldn't say it's cheap because it's not. It's just under, probably just under $100. Well, probably around the $75 US dollar price range. It's a Plantronics USB headset that we use for voice over IP communication. So it's probably not the best gaming headset, and it's also not the worst gaming headset. Obviously it's designed for voice communications, so so I think that's obviously a plus for it. But yeah, so that's what I have. That's what I use. Um, and so I'm going to just continue, I think, using the baseball cap method. I don't necessarily like to wear a baseball cap that much, but I think I'll just keep my money because that other unit, oddly enough, is not. You're tethered. It requires USB power, or it requires power of some kind. I don't know if it plugs into a USB port to get the power, or if it's got some other kind of battery power connection, but it does require power, and it is a little bit heavier. So I think I'm just going to, for now, continue to use the baseball cap variety of the TrackIR and try to use that a little bit more on the videos for you to see that. Of course, it only works in cab. If I jump out of cab, I can turn my head, I can spin my head around, not quite as effectively as my wife can, but please don't tell her I said that. But it doesn't register, so that's a good thing. And that was actually a question. I did not know if the head tracker would have anything to do with movement when you're outside of the cab. Of course, I'm moving the camera with my mouse now, which is what I normally do. It's what I'm most comfortable in using to move the mouse around. So outside of camera, moving my head around, nothing, or outside of cab, moving my head around, nothing. In cab, moving my head, and I get the camera movement. So it's not too bad. I don't have to crane my head around too much to see the rear. I was sort of practicing with that earlier, and I suck at it because I'm so used to jumping out of cab to see backing up to a trailer or an implement, but I will try to practice and get a little bit better at that. So enough talking, because we are paying Billy Bob here for his work. So we're going to go ahead and have him cultivate this field, and we'll just make sure that he gets up here to the end and turns around and continues working. I'm finding the occasional somewhat oddity with AI workers that I don't know if I was experiencing on the first day, and I really don't think it has anything to do with um, any sort of patch or change to the base game since since release, because I didn't see any problems at all with AI the first few hours or first few days of gameplay. I think it's just there's somewhat of an issue sometimes with some functions that I'm finding, but really nothing that I can pinpoint. I guess one thing I found is sometimes you'll send the AI off to do his or her job, and they'll do one row and then they'll stop at the end of the field as if they're done, when it's pretty clear that um, there's still more work to do. So I don't know. I don't know what that is. Probably nothing at all. I know it's not my imagination, because I imagine a lot of other things besides that. So anyway, so what are we going to do today? I think, well, I got a phone call earlier today um, from um, from Mary up at Mary's farm, and she has for us some dairy cows that she wants us to come up and take a look at. We're pretty much ready to go from a maintenance perspective of cows. So we've got obviously we cut the grass field just over field number 12. We cut that yesterday. We tethered the grass, we raked the grass, we belled, and I got quite a good yield out of that field. I think it was something like I'm wanting to think it was about, well, it was more than 32 bells. So I believe I did 16. I wrapped 16 bells for silage. I've got 16 grass bells, and then there was sort of a mixture, a hodgepodge of a couple of other different types, maybe like three, three. I'm trying to do this. Oop, turning the wrong way. See, that's going to be my problem. Even though I know which way I should turn, it's um, it's that habit thing, right? There we go. So bear with me on this TrackIR thing. It is going to be a little bit of a challenge just to get used to. You may also see that I will have to do this somewhat frequently, where the camera jumps. That's me resetting the view. The view can somewhat get somewhat uncalibrated. It's sort of, I guess it's a phenomenon, or maybe an issue or a glitch, or just the fact of the matter. And I've seen this with ETS2. I've seen this in Flight Sim, where I have sort of routinely used TrackIR. So I'll try not to waste too much time talking about it, because I realize that TrackIR might not be for everyone. But here's a cool thing that you can do. If you sort of visualize and imagine that the sunroof is actually open, we can sort of move our head up, and we can stick our head out of the sunroof and look around. Not so good on this tractor. Some of the smaller tractors, um, you can but that's not for real. But anyway, it is kind of convenient for driving in cab and trying to do things correctly as far as road rules are concerned. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go down to Mary's farm. We'll turn our flashers on, and of course, TrackIR, it measures the distance that you are. So all right, so let me spend a few more minutes talking about this. And again, if you have it, I apologize. Just maybe tune out for just a few minutes. But um, so basically, TrackIR, the version that I have, which is the more expensive one, uh, has a little plastic device that has infrared sensors built into it. It's connected via USB cable, and this car is moving so slow, so we're going to just pull out in front of them. And that little device mounts on top of your monitor. And when everything is working normally, you've got two little green lights that's staring at you, two little LEDs. It's basically telling you that it has connection with the sensor that's on your baseball cap, or that other little plastic thing that fits onto a headset that the reviews are pretty poor on it. Anyway, so that is registering the movements of your head. That little metal clip thing that attaches to the brim of a baseball cap has three different little pieces of sensor tape on on the um, on the little metal thing. It is those little reflective pieces of sensor tape that the infrared unit is basically looking at. And when those turn, and there's basically, I think there's two on the side and one on the top. So it's measuring, um, I guess, maybe X and Y axis or something like that. So if we look up, it moves up. If we look down, it moves down. If we look left, it looks left. If we move right, it looks right. Um, and of course, this works in a multitude of different software packages. And I will say that it's pretty slick the way that Giants implemented the head tracking technology into 17, because as far as I know, all the other games that I play that I use TrackIR, I don't have an in-game um, key binding or joystick binding or something like that that I can program to reset the camera. I have to use the TrackIR reset, which I think is like F8. But if F8 does something else in the game, then you've got to think about, okay, what do I need to do there? So because I have, obviously because I have the G27, which has the gear shifter and has some buttons on the steering wheel and such as that. I've got plenty of buttons that I can assign to it. So enough about all of that. Let's pull up the F1 menu because I don't know all this stuff by heart. We're going to open let's just remove the livestock. That's lowering the livestock trailer. We don't necessarily need to do that. Open cover, that's in, so we can see them get in. And hey, Mary, thanks for doing this work for us. What do you have for us? Oh, okay. Well, and how many do you have? Okay, well, we'll take all six. 30,000. All right. Oh, I've got that for you in cash. Thank you so much, Mary. I do appreciate it. By the way, those pigs are working out fantastically. All right. All right, great. All right. Thank you so much, Mary. All right. Let me know when you get a good line on some sheep and potentially more dairy cows. We're going to be looking at bringing our numbers of dairy cows up to probably about 12 in the next couple of days. So if you can find 6 more good ones, let me know. Okay. All right. Thanks, Mary. Okay, that Mary, she's a great lady, and you know, I believe she has a nephew that has come here from England because Mary's husband recently passed away. God rest his soul. Um, and her nephew, I think it's her nephew, came over from the United Kingdom. His name is Shawnee B, and he is helping Mary out with some of the tasks on her farm and doing quite a remarkable job. And you can follow if you go to my YouTube channel. Just kind of stepping out of character here, which I have a hard time staying in character, and I do apologize for that. But if you go to my YouTube channel and if you look on my featured channels, you'll find Shawnee B 31, and you'll find him as a featured channel. You can follow Shawnee B's adventures in Goldcrest Valley. Again, that's Mary's nephew, I believe, and he came over from the UK to help her out, and he's ended up just staying. And he's doing quite well for himself. So have a watch for that. And let's go ahead and move out of here because Mary, I'm sure, is probably ready to bring in another tractor and trailer and whatever else. All right. So we will head on down to the dairy complex. The dairy complex is kind of across the map from where we are basically now. It's over in the southwest corner of the map. We're down in the lower southeast corner. And let's see, we could take these back roads, but we'll go out here to the main road and drive down the main road. I may have mentioned it yesterday, and I do apologize if I'm repeating myself. Again, my wife tends to say that I do that quite a bit. I guess that's just part of getting older. But I can't remember from one day to the next what I say or what I do. So I think that's just part of the aging process. But sometimes I even forget what I was going to say. I mean, that just absolutely sucks, doesn't it? All right, we'll turn our beacons on. No, what I was going to say was I installed a couple of mods yesterday from the Mod Hub. Now that is the built-in mod. There's OJ again. The built-in mod site that's built into FS17 that's managed by Giants. And I installed a couple of mods yesterday. And the first being a sort of a wheel mud mod that's supposed to sort of intensify and make it a little bit more real, I suppose, the way the mud gets onto the wheels and such as that. So we'll see what that ends up doing for us, if anything at all. The other mod that I installed was the ground, something about the way the ground interacts with the vehicles, or the vehicles interact with the ground. I think that mod has quite a bit of potential, and I need to stay in my lane, don't I? But quite honestly, I think it is good for, like, this tractor as I'm driving down the street, and maybe even driving through a dirt road or even a field. But the combines, boy, the combines is like that's like a ship on rough seas. And I don't know if we'll do any combine work in this episode. I'm just glancing over at my timer there. Probably not. But when I do get a chance to do some combine work, I'll show you what I'm talking about. And maybe you already know, if you're playing 17, you sort of already know how the combine just sort of rocks right to left, and especially if you're in cab and you're sort of looking at, obviously at the bottom of the screen, you're looking at the reel turning, and that's sort of, that's sort of straight across, and then the crop, whatever the crop is coming in, and it almost it almost makes you combine sick or car sick. Um, Try not to scare those cows too much with my driving, but it's got some potential. I just think that they need to tone it down just a little bit. Now, we had Jim Bob bring over the uh, the hay shredder, or the bale shredder, um, and so he parked it there because that was at the pig farm, and well, it needed to be here. All right, so bring up our animal dialogue. We'll unload all 6 of those guys, well, gals actually, and there they go. So they are out in the field, all 6 of those beautiful, beautiful dairy cows. Now, one question that I have is, I'm pretty sure I just purchased 6 dairy cows, but, and of course, this is not going to register yet because they don't have anything to eat or drink, but we will correct that. But reproduction rate, how are they reproducing? And remember, this is a PG stream, so all right, we'll turn our beacons off because we don't need them while we're down here. We need water. We need water, and we don't have. Unfortunately, I guess Jim Bob didn't get a chance, or Billy Bob didn't get a chance to bring the water tanker down here. So let's just cut across here. Hopefully they won't mind. We'll get back into cab view, turn our beacons on, and let's head back to the farm, and we'll pick up the water tanker. Now we're probably gonna need to double up on some equipment, just for the simple fact that it's gonna become a slight challenge, dare I say nightmare, to to move, constantly have to move this equipment from point A to point B. Um, we're going to buy today. We're going to buy the I don't know why I'm moving my camera with my mouse. Habit. We're going to buy. We'll go this way. We're going to buy the mixing wagon, or the mixing trailer. We're going to do that. We're going to do that today because we're gonna try to get their productivity up to 100%, because otherwise, why else do this? Because obviously the dairy cows provide us a nice income, but you know, we're going to eventually purchase a field closer to the dairy farm, the dairy facility, and obviously plant corn and harvest that corn for chaff to ferment into silage, and obviously do that in the silage clamp down at the dairy farm, because wrapping the hay bales to turn that into silage, that's obviously a fairly slow process, and it's fine for getting us getting us going, because that's what we needed to do. Practice, practice, practice. Alright, that should be enough for 6 cows. So what was I saying? So we're gonna buy the trailer. There's no other, there's no other mods. The Marhu mixing station's not out, and so we're gonna have to sort of do this the manual way. Plus, it gives us a chance to bail and stuff like that. I mean, the Marhu mixing station is certainly a fantastic mod, and Stevie incorporates that in his mods, or in his maps. So we were playing. Obviously, we were using a mixing station on Paradise Hills, and it makes it really easy because you can just deal with the bulk material. And there's that little hay barn that placeable hay barn that you can get through the store, and place that you can dump bulk hay and bulk straw into. That's kind of cool. But there's not a lot of need to bale at that point, and baling is something that, again, if the map has the abilities to do the raw stuff, then that's what I typically do. So we're gonna, for now anyways, we're gonna stay away from the mixing station. Well, one, it's not available yet. So, but even if it were to become available, I think I would probably still do it this way. So I guess what I'm trying to say as I drive around with my blinker going is that we're gonna buy the mixing wagon. This is the trail behind tractor version, and then at some point, once we purchase a field down this direction and get a corn crop planted on it, harvest the corn, compact it in the silage clamp, and all that stuff, we may then sell that trail behind and buy the little self-propelled version, which I've actually never used before. I've never used it before. So, not sure if this is where water goes. We're just going to give it a try and see. F1, because I can't remember the option. Water's not accepted here. Okay, so water does not go here. That must be where a feed type goes. So I'm pretty sure straw goes there. That's where you unload the animals. So we must be looking at water possibly here. Yep. The cows definitely drink more water than the pigs do. Alright, so let's just kind of turn around here. Hopefully that farmer won't mind. We're eventually going to own that field anyway. And we've been doing some work for him, and he's a great guy, and he likes us quite a bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this and just park this over here for now. And we're going to go to the store and get the mixing trailer. So I'm curious if, again, sort of this whole, I guess, the theme of this whole episode, outside of the storyline and the actual farming tasks, seems to be the discussion about TrackIR, and I'm kind of curious, for those of you who currently do not have TrackIR, is this something, and quite a few of the YouTubers are streaming using TrackIR, is this something that you are considering purchasing because you perhaps are obviously a farm sim addict like me, and now that 17 sort of officially supports the head tracking functionality, is this something that you're considering? I'm just kind of curious if that is the case. Because with 15 you could get it to work, and I never even tried it because it required a mod, and there were a lot of people that were successful at getting it to work, and some people were not, and so I just never really messed with it. I wanted I wanted it to sort of be native to the application, and it was really, the way that I drove, tended to drive more outside of the cab, third person. It really was okay with me. All right, so we're going to get this guy here, and we're going to buy him, and we can fetch it at the store. It's amazing how the store always has what we want. I mean, it's just there. I mean, they must have an incredible inventory of goods, right? We're backing up without really looking at what we're backing it to, so hopefully we haven't run over anybody. All right, just need to do a reset there. It is sort of great that the store is close to the dairy complex. That makes it sort of nice. All right, so we'll jump out. Let's get into this guy, and let's go spread the straw. Let's see, straw goes around right behind us, so we'll just turn around out here. I see that Jim Bob, let's turn around because I don't know if the spout will rotate. Just in case it doesn't, let's just go ahead and do it the way that it's facing. I see that Jim Bob failed to put the pallet forks on. He left the bell fork. He left the pallet forks on, but that's okay. We know that it will work just fine. All right, so that's enough for. I guess it stops at each bell. That's what we have. We'll turn on the mixing wagon, jump out. And again, my apologies, folks, but I was going with sort of what I knew from 15. I couldn't find anything looking at any of the forums. So let's get our forks right, back up. And by the way, I realize that these are pallet forks and not hay forks, but they work just fine. And that's one. So we need two of those bad boys. 2. That's number 2. Now 1. One bale of straw. And then finally, 1 grass or hay. Okay, let's back away. Let's jump over here. We're good to go. Pull up our numbers. We're all green. And I don't know why I didn't catch that big red whopping line earlier, but don't know if I would have necessarily known to have added 2 silage, but I guess that really makes sense. Is the silage is really the, I guess is really the power aspect of all of that, and it's empty. And that's good for 6 days. Alright, so that's fine. We'll just have to remember what's in our mixing wagon, and that's power food or TMR. And so, sorry about all the confusion. You know, you learn something, and I like to learn things, and I also like to share what I learn with others. So if you're starting to play 17 and you're starting to get around to the point where you are going to add cattle, dairy cows, that's the deal. And if I had been paying a little bit more attention, I would have realized the error of my ways. So thanks for watching as always, and I will clean this mess up down here, get this equipment all stored away where it needs to be, and probably think about what we're going to do as far as grass storage, because we do need grass. I had not anticipated that. If I would have, I guess if I would have come in here and looked at what the ingredients were, I would have seen grass. I need grass. But the good thing is now we have the equipment. I'll have to go back and just apologize to the wife, or maybe she won't notice that that big forage wagon parked in the yard. But we are obviously, we've got the equipment now for sheep, so we might as well go ahead and probably look at getting some sheep the next episode. So we've got all of our animals at that point, and we just keep their productivities up. I want to add more cows, probably also add 6 more cows to the mix. We've had a new pig born. We've got another one coming in an hour and 32 minutes, so they're all happy and healthy. Looks like the reproduction rate is a little bit slower for cows, but I guess that makes sense. And yeah, so I'll talk to you next time. I appreciate you watching, and have a wonderful day, and enjoy your time on Farming Sim 17. Bye-bye.